It was a no-brainer for us, to be honest. They're not post or staple salesmen, they're agronomists. Yeah, so I'm Bevan Parker, Pongaroa Station in Mahia. The property is owned by Baytown Investments. I've worked for Baytown Investments for 20 odd years now. I'm just about institutionalised. I started off at one of the farms called Lagoon Hill Station in the South Wairarapa as head shepherd, and then from there went up to another Baytown owned farm called Great Mercury Island and managed there with my family for 7 years. And the opportunity came up to manage Pongaroa, and being a family that liked the coast, we didn't hesitate in coming to the coast and enjoying what coastal life has to offer, and try and do a little bit of work in the meantime too. The actual main station itself is 960 hectares, and 340 of that is what I'd call cropping arable land that we can get a tractor over pretty easy, and that's sort of the engine room behind Pongaroa Station. And obviously the rest is hill country, gullies, a few native reserves and stuff like that. Main source of income is a winter lamb trade, and in behind that winter lamb trade, our most successful trade is our Hereford bull leasing into the dairy industry. We can get 3 to 4 leases out of a Hereford bull from 18 months through, and then start killing them after their leasing lifetime and hitting that major higher weight bracket before they start getting downgraded. Try and avoid the summer lamb trade, but it is a necessary evil, and we use chicories, plantains. Filling and feed deficiencies with crops is fodder beet, oats. So we're using our plantain and clover to focus on shoulders of the season where the market's at its peak. So we're bringing our ewes and lambs out of the hill country just after lambing, docking, and then using that to really smoke those cull ewe carcass weights and milk lambs off mum. When me and my family first arrived at Pongaroa Station, they'd been growing close to 360 hectares of maize annually, and I was fortunate enough to be given a blank canvas and decide on stock policies, which was very exciting for me. So we decided to incorporate some fodder crops and forage crops. So previously we'd sort of tracked along pretty averagely really, through my inexperience and a lot of lack of monitoring and stuff like that. So we decided to, through word of mouth, through talking to neighbours, we decided to go with Smart Forage, and we haven't really looked back. There was no hesitation in the fact that it was very hard to calculate loss of production with having to re-sow. It was a no-brainer for us, to be honest. What Smart Forage bring is that support and the monitoring, and when you need information, they're on call because they specialise in crops and nothing else. We've formed some pretty good relationships in the years that we've dealt with them, and I think those relationships are getting stronger. You see some of the young guys coming through Smart, and they're just as passionate as the generation before. It looks like an exciting company to be part of and even be employed by. It's been very encouraging to sit there and talk with the team from Smart, because they're always interested in your policies. They're always there to give their best advice on what we should be growing to actually hit those targets and when those crops will be firing at their maximum yield, so we can sort of match our policy together. And one of the things that's always impressed me about the Smart team is they must have a pretty good shoe dealer, because they seem to walk every corner of the paddock every time they're here. Unfortunately, Smart aren't the cheapest, but when you add the extra cost in it to the monitoring that you get, and you see them driving in the gate at 6:30 in the morning, pre-spraying and stuff like that, monitoring, I don't mind paying for service. These guys are agronomists. They're not post or staple salesmen, they're agronomists. when there's a father-son in the paddock, they do listen to each other, and they're not afraid to actually say their piece. It's just great to work with people who are passionate about what they do. The reason I'm loyal to Smart is about the relationships that the team have brought to us. It's also success. You wouldn't use them if you weren't having success.